What's up? What's going on? It's your boy, Kupz the Universe, aka Petey Mosberg, aka Poet Lounge. And first of all, let me thank all my new subscribers. Salute to y'all. It's a slow process for my channel, right? But it's still growth. And I appreciate all of my subscribers and all of my future subscribers. Today we're going to be discussing the difference between ascension and awakening, and basically why you don't rush neither in anybody. Okay? Now, an awakening is when you come to a realization via a third party source, whether it be research, whether it be, another person, and it jolts your system because it wakes you up to something that you wasn't previously conscious to, right? So then it may have you like, well, why don't everybody talk about this? Why aren't, more people angry about this, right? Awakening, right? Ascension is when you behave a certain way, right? And it's okay with you, right? But then something in your mind is like, you know what? These things are no longer okay with me. And you change them. And you change them for the greatest good. The Most High Father, the highest God being, right? Not just people or beings that do things that humanity don't know about. And it's like, oh my God, that's a God. You know what I'm saying? Because humans do that. But, the highest of those beings, the highest, the living God, right? Let's just say it like that. Boom. Now, awakening, right? Why you never rush an awakening? One time, me and a couple of my friends, right, was going into this awakening moment. Me and my homeboys would watch a lot of exposed DVDs, and it was exposing the devil, Satan, the way they operate in this planet, right? And it was devastating. It was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, I want to be in that industry. This is when I wanted to be like in the rap industry, and it was like, yo, this is crazy, right? Some of the things they was exposing was insane. But then again, I was always ready for it, right? Still was extreme. One day I met one of my boys, a couple of my peoples, and we started looking at the ingredients on the gum. This was my awakening moment. It was like, whoa, what is that? We look it up. It's poison, neurotoxin poison put in the gum, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So we start doing research. I mean, uncontrollable research. And, it made us different in that instant of learning the truth versus what we've been always told. We was wondering why other people didn't notice. We went through everything. Honestly, one of my boys, had to go through some issues behind it. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the one that wasn't supposed to be awakened, though. You feel me? Like, he wasn't the one that was like, all the way out of it, but he started to get a certain, you know what I'm saying? He started to go a certain route with his energy. And it was like, I understood it, but it was almost like it was like it was messing with him, like different. Now, that's my boy, and he's all the way good with it. But now, that's not the person I want to talk about. So listen, we start going through our ascension, right? And one of our other homeboys come over, and we start putting him on about everything. I mean, everything. We just start telling him everything like, yo, this is like this, that's like that. Look at this, look at that. Listen up there. You hear the helicopters, boom, 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 boom. Like, we just going in on it, right? Yo, he was not ready. We scared him so bad with the truth that he did not want to go home. He left. He knocked back on the door, came back, started crying. He was terrified. So I had to call up one of my friends at the time that drove a cab. I had to assure him that this is my homeboy and he's going to make sure you get home safe, right? For him to actually go home. He was shook. Like, we took him out of his comfort zone so fast that it wasn't no soft landing for him. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a short explanation of it. But those that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. There are rules in the normal society, and then when you realize that it's not what they've been telling you, it's kind of upsetting, you know? Sometimes it's upsetting in one way more than another. You know, me per se, I stopped eating everything for like months. I didn't want to eat nothing. I was like looking at the ingredients on everything. And we're going to do a video about the ingredients in your food, because we have people, you want to eat vegetarian, but there's so much stuff in your house that I guarantee you is toxic to your life and your well-being that you use every day and do not realize it. Not just the foods, okay? And we're going to touch on that, right? But, in short, that's when we shouldn't have awoken him. You see what I'm saying? Now, Ascension is a little different. Ascension is not for everybody, because everybody doesn't want to become a better version of themselves. And you can't, no matter how perfect you think you can become in this human body, there is no real perfection gained in this real body in corresponds to spirit perfection. Okay? Let's get that out the way right now. No matter how perfect a person may become, he don't eat meat, he don't do this, he don't do that. No matter what, by human standards, is perfect. And you say, okay, he meets that. He's still not perfect in the eyes of the Father. Okay? And we need to understand that. There's nothing in this universe that's perfect in the eyes of the Father. It's not just humans. Okay? But the ascension is different, because you can't force an ascension, because people do what they are programmed to do. And unless that individual person decides to change what their programming is, they habits are, then they won't really ascend. That makes sense. In a sense. Now, pureness of heart can be purely the reason why you ascend. Let's be honest. It's really not about what you do. But in a society where people are trying to bring heaven on earth amongst each other, right? Because we do know that the rules of the Father, right, are universal. And the rules of man are rules of man. But the word of Christ in the rules of man makes sure that people live harmoniously with each other. All right? This is just what it is. So when you don't believe in this doctrine, right? When you don't have this doctrine, it doesn't have to be the religious format of it. It doesn't have to be, oh, I go to church every Sunday, I pay my tithes, I pay my collection plate offering, and if I don't do that, I'm not getting to heaven. Or, you walk into church as you are, like God tells you to come as you are. You walk into church and say, you want to be saved, and then everybody in the church that's dressed in their three-piece suits and their gowns, they're looking at you like, nah, you're a heathen, and they judging you, and now you don't even feel like you're in a place of God, right? It happens. So don't think of it like that. Think of it as you. Your body is the temple. Your body is the altar. You are the altar to God. What are you offering to God? What are you giving up for God? That's the only thing that's really showing that, you are appreciative of him. You value him. And the things that you are attached to in this world do not have greater bearings than he has on you. You see what I'm saying? So when people say they're ascending and they're giving up certain negative traits and all this and that, it ain't nothing about high value man, because they took that high value and put money behind it and say, oh, if you got a lot of money, you're high value. Right? But it has to do with Like, yo, are you willing to give up things for your Father, for your God, for the one that you love, that loves you so, right? Like I said, you can't be perfect. So there's no amount of ascending on earth that's going to bring you to the Father. Only his love for you is going to bring you to him. So purity of the heart can bring you to him. But purity of the heart will also allow you to get rid of certain things. And don't feel like, yo, if I make mistakes and, you know, I slipped on this and now I'm never going to. No, people make mistakes. It's the fact that you try. It's the fact that you try for him. See, the Father, they know your heart. Yeshua knows your heart. These are energies that can tap into you. They're in you, right? And you have to realize that no matter when you choose to do it, it's always going to be when you are ready. So I might be ready today. My friend might not be ready till 3 years from now. And if I get on this self-conscious energy where it's like, no, I got to get rid of all toxic things. And you're not ready. And you got to do what I say right now. You got to change with me right now. You got to get rid of this. You got to stop smoking that. You got to. Then I push that person away. I might even push them away and make it longer for them to ascend in their own ascension process. See what I'm saying? Ascension will separate people from other people because most people aren't ready to move like that. You feel what I'm saying? First, they have to come through with the awakening. They have to awaken to know the enemy, to know that this exists in this paradigm. And then once they realize that, then they can make their steps to becoming not like that paradigm, not like the entity that is running that paradigm. And then in that change, you realize most of the things that you do are attached to that paradigm and that being. And then it's like, okay, well, I got to stop doing these things because these things are not reflective of my Father. These are not fruit from the Father God, right? These are just fruit from something that feels it's intelligent. And a lot of things have intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Spirituality shows you that you can be spirit and not have a side or have one or the other side. So spirituality don't make you perfect. You make you perfect by living in the word of the Father and by living in the will of the Father. This has nothing to do with man. Because if a person never met a person that wrote a Bible in their life and they lived in the jungle and they was doing something, they was meant to find the Father would speak to them through the nature. If a person was in space floating around and didn't know nothing about the Father, somehow, some way, through what they are able to perceive in their, perception, would allow them to further learn the Father. You feel me? So like I'm saying, don't rush people to ascend and don't rush people to awaken. It'll only make them hate you. They will despise you, especially if you don't have an answer for them on how to change it. You will become the enemy. That's when the truth becomes the enemy. And I'm not telling you not to speak your truth, but have the discernment to know when and to who to speak it. Because you can ruin people's lives by calling yourself trying to push them to ascend, calling yourself trying to force an awakening. For those who are going to awaken, they will awaken. For those who will ascend, they will ascend. You know what I'm saying? For those that won't, they won't. But you can't force it because like I said, my homeboy was scared out of his mind to leave our house with an awakening. And then ascension, please forget about it. You know how many times you don't even want to interact with humanity or with the society because of the way they are and what they deem good. So it's your boy Kupz the Universe, aka Petey Mosberg, aka Poet Lounge, and I just wanted to say that. You know what I'm saying? Check out some of my other videos, more videos to come. And once again, I thank all my new subscribers. Salute to y'all. Y'all will be having a lot more content to all my subscribers. A lot of content I'm thinking about creating for y'all. And I love y'all, and I love everybody that may be a potential subscriber. And I hope all is well, and I hope all is safe. And I send my blessings, and I send my love. One.